So a little bit of GA news as a man who's been wrongfully accused myself. Trent Palmer. Do you know this story, Gonky?
You've mentioned it before. Refresh my memory.
So Trent Palmer, he's one of the Sky Cowboys or something. He flies the STOL aircraft. I thought about this because we talked about air cams last week, which is why Google's probably recommending it to me. So he was going to a friend's house and he did this like low pass. And he's like, this was an intel gathering pass. And I did a go around and there was video and they said, well, hey, you were within 500 feet of another building. We're going to suspend your license for 120 days. And he took it all the way to the NTSB or whoever, the board, and lost and is appealing the 120-day suspension of his license. And so in this article that Douglas has, which I've just summarized, the EAA and AOPA have both stepped up to help address the federal appeals court on Palmer's behalf, maintaining the NTSB board was consistently ignoring provisions of the pilot's Bill of Rights. He noted that FAR 91-119 specifies altitude restrictions carry the qualification except when necessary for takeoff and landing. And he said that his low pass was necessary for takeoff and landing because, well, I was checking it out and I decided not to land. Punishing him for a prudent decision could induce other pilots to land to avoid a violation, even when better judgments. And then AOPA Legal Services has helped with this, as well as a petitioner brief on December 11th. And they have till January 17th to file a response. So I thought we could talk about that for a minute. Not much beyond.
It's a good example of why a lot of pilots hold the FAA in such high regard.
Well, and it goes back to what we were just talking about. People don't trust the government. Remember Reagan's, I'm from the government, I'm here to help you.
Bad.
That's bad. Yeah, when you hear those words, the most terrifying words in the English language.
I remember this story now, and we only know from what we've read. I don't know all the crazy details, but it sounds like he just did a low pass over a potential place he wanted to land to check it out. I've done that in Cessnas.
It was like a RC field or something. It was like a very small field next to this guy's house, and they got the security cameras or something. I don't know.
Yeah, how it's insane to me to think that. All right, let's just give it a shot for go for a landing the first pass. Why wouldn't you do? You can call it an inspection pass.
This might be personal, but I would say I think a lot of people in power tend to want to do the most severe thing as soon as possible. When even, let's say he's guilty, let's say he did it, he buzzed this place. What benefits the flying public more? Educating this guy and having him as part of his penance, like, hey, dude, you screwed up. Why don't we together educate the public? And, we're not going to suspend you because we think you flying actually helps general aviation. We think you're a good ambassador for aviation. Let's educate together. Let's do a campaign together. I guarantee you would have said yes.
Dude, the FAA doesn't care about general aviation. General aviation is dying.
Yeah.
It's a government agency. They don't need to make a profit to exist.
But I have that's a pretty cynical take, Gonky, because I have heard of some FAA examiners from FSDO say that our goal is to educate. Like they have come out and said that. They have said our goal is to educate. 9 times out of 10, we will not issue a violation if we don't have to. We use our discretion because our goal is to educate. And if in a cooperative situation, we would rather do the education.
I could see how this guy gets a violation from a disgruntled or an uneducated FAA type, but it surprises me that he took it, did the legal action to appeal it, and it they didn't overturn it. That's what's surprising. Either we're not hearing all of the story, so either he did do something that was not consistent with safe operation of the airplane, or it is literally the FAA just, reinforcing the stigma that most pilots have about the FAA.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that. I mean, yeah, Luna knows. Look, she's out of here.
She's gone.
She's like, I'm out of here.
She left. I was watching her. She just pranced out. I'm like, what did you just do?
Yeah.
I'm kind of concerned about the way she walked out. All right, cool. Douglas, you got anything to add?
Not really. I followed it from the beginning. You have to really look for it. I couldn't find it on short notice, but you can actually see the footage.
Are we missing anything
of what happened? No. Well, other than the part where the guy whose land he was going to land on has a neighbor who doesn't seem to really like him or Trent. Maybe
is he an FAA guy?
No.
He's the one that reported it, though.
Yeah, it would have never been on anybody's radar otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying the FAA always makes the wrong decision. That's not what I'm saying. But this article is pretty.
Well, there was I saw this video thing about somebody landed a helicopter on their own house, and the whole neighborhood complained to the FAA because they're like, "Oh, it scared my dogs. Oh my God." And it's like, yeah.
I mean, I mean, you're a cop. You just give the guy a warning. I mean,
I do give warnings.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm all about the warnings. I think the process is the education.
Yeah,
and I can speak for that firsthand, having been through it. The process sucks.
Well, yanking a guy's license for 120 days, how is that educating him?
That's what I said. Gonky, did you listen to nothing that I said? That what they should have done was cooperate, collaborate?
I agree with you, and I'm reinforcing your fact of like, hey, their slogan of "we're here to educate" maybe I don't agree with it. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing I've learned with the government. When they dig in, so in a case like this, right? Two sides. Let's say it started in a situation, because this is what happens when you've got a situation where one party in authority doesn't understand or gets angry, uses emotion, and maybe not 100% backed in facts or logic or reason or even the law. Let's call it that. They dig in, okay? And then party B fights it because they're like, well, holy shit, that's not fair. I'm not going to, no, look at this. Well, then the entire organization defends itself. They circle the wagons. So at every level above that, nobody will then, because the government it's a self-licking ice cream cone. It exists because of itself. Like it doesn't really offer much beyond itself. So to protect itself, everyone above that, i.e. in this case, all the way up to the NTSB, well, they're going to say, yeah, we're right. No, we're right. And we're not going to say we're wrong, because at that point, it snowballs to the point that it's a huge deal if they say they're wrong. So they're going to dig their heels in. And when you get beyond a certain point, there is no return. Now it has to be the appeals court, and it has to be this big fight, because
it sounds like a swamp.
It does get swampy.
Sounds like a swamp I've heard about.
Swampy swamps.